Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Again, my name is Wendy Glenn, and I am a homeschool mom of three.
And I'm Jennifer Cole, homeschool mom of one.
And today we are going to talk about homeschool groups and field trips and other fun activities that you can do with your kids while you are homeschooling. And as some people may know who's watching this, I have a group that I started in our area um, when my son, one day we were working on our school and he was like, ugh, not wanting to do it. So I said, well, if you don't want to do school at home, you're going to have to go back to public school. And he said, okay. And I was like, why? Why do you want to go back to public school? Why don't you want to stay home? And he looked at me and he said, well, I miss recess. So I said, okay, let's see what I can do to help you um, feel like you want to be home. Like let's see what I can do to help the situation. So I got on Facebook and I thought that I would find maybe one or two local homeschool families that we could meet at the park once in a while. And then my son would have friends and we would be able to, just hang out, you know, like I said, at the park once in a
Socialize.
while. Socialize, yes, because he missed recess. So I was going to create a recess for him.
Fast
4 years
forward
later, four
4
years
years later.
later, there is roughly 950 something people in the group, and somewhere around 50 more wanting to join that have not maybe not have not answered the questions that I asked before you can get admitted into the group. So yes, 4 years later, we are we're
Going
going
strong.
strong. We're going, it's way bigger than I ever thought it was. I mean, when we hit 500, I was like, oh, this was never going to get this big, right? Never.
Hmm.
And then it just kept growing and growing and growing. And like I said, almost every day, there's more and more people trying to get into the group, right? And then tomorrow, someone will share the group in another group. Like someone will say something like, hey, is there any homeschool families around here? Oh, yes. And they will list all the groups in the area because there are many. I'm not by
Hmm.
far not the only group in this area. And there are many. So they will start listing all the groups. And of course, then I'll have like 10 people wanting to join the group or more. And some
Did
will
you
come to
even
our events and some will not. But
did you
like I said, the
even
group is getting
start
larger and larger.
did you even start with any types of field trips? I think it was just parks. That's just how you started, right?
Yes. So we started with um just one. Well, okay, our very first park day was actually just down the street from my house at a what is it, a county park, county recreational center, area. And I started there first ever one. I think there was like four people there. It was very casual, obviously. And the next one after that, there was a little bit more and a little bit more. And very quickly it grew extremely fast. And I think within a year, I started doing field trips. Like I did some kind of not very organized field trips at first because I didn't know what I was doing. This is the first time I had ever done this, right? I just pulled my
And you
kids.
didn't know how many people were going to actually show up, which turned
No,
out to be
exactly.
way more than
Exactly. So my
what
very
was
first
planned.
organized, yes, Jennifer was at my very first organized field trip, which was at a local museum, and we had 83 people.
No idea we were
And
going to have 83 people. There were
no,
so
no.
many.
And I was really shocked that many people showed up. But yes, it was huge. So from then on, we just started to do like, I was like, well, we'll do field trips maybe every, so often, right? Whenever we can. And then it turned into, well, now it's a monthly thing. So now try to do at least one field trip a month. Some months we've had as many as four field trips a month. We do 4 park days a month and we have a local urban air, which I know not everybody has local urban airs, but we have a local urban air. So on Fridays they give us our own time, and so we also do that. But we've also gone to so many other places too. So I mean, it
Hmm.
can grow. Like I will say this: if you're homeschooling and there is not a group in your area, make one. If there is a group in your area or many groups, like in our area, there's, like I said, lots of different groups. Go and try each one out. See which one you like the best. See which one you fit. Like I tell people, you have to find your tribe. Not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody's going to like what you're doing. You can't take it personally. I do all the time, but you can't.
Well,
Don't
and
take
the
it
other thing
personally.
is too, like, you may find a group that, I don't know, maybe you can't commit to doing their weekly park days or their weekly, like we do, urban area parks,
Yes.
everything every week. But maybe you do like the field trips that they go on, and that
Oh,
gives your
yeah.
child an opportunity to get out there and join certain events that, you know, you wouldn't be able to have access to if it wasn't in a big group. Wendy gets
Ex-
all sorts of deals on things. You want to elaborate, I'm sure.
I mean, we've gone to Great Wolf Lodge. That was one of our, we'll say, most expensive trips, right? So we went to Great Wolf
Hmm.
Lodge in Dallas,
Which
and
was a blast.
we had just under 100 people, right? So those trips, just for someone, just so you know, if you want to start one of these groups yourself, you have to put your credit card down. Like that's scary for me. And every time
Hmm.
I call one of the places we go a lot, my credit card cries a little bit. But when you have a good group of people and you know that they're going to do what they say they're going to do,
Hmm.
it's not so bad. But you like Great Wolf Lodge, it was, I, I think you needed 90% of your rooms filled. And if you didn't get 90% of your rooms filled that you had requested, um, they would charge your credit card for whatever up to that 90%. I went over when we went. I actually went over, so I didn't have to worry about that. Right? You can, if you have a good rapport with some of these places, you can start off small that have these issues. Have the issues like they're going to charge you if you don't fill your rooms. Don't start with 100 rooms. Start with whatever their minimum is. Start with
Hmm.
10, right? And go from there. So that's what I did. I started with 10 because that was the minimum. And I think we ended up doing closer to 20 rooms. And like I said, we had just under 100 people there, maybe more, closer to 30 rooms, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
remember. It was a couple years ago. I don't remember the exact numbers. I just know when we counted, we had just under 100 people there, you know. And again, we have other groups in the area, and other people from other groups that run other groups are in my group too. So sometimes they come
they
along to
do
our stuff too.
mix
So
and match, right? And
they
then we do
exactly.
some of the same types of events also.
Yes,
They also do Great Wolf Lodge trips. They do them at different times throughout the year. So there's people that belong to our group that also go to stuff for other groups, and that's
exactly.
fine. I don't
Exactly.
I don't
Absolutely.
care.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
can't do the trips as much as some people probably want to do them either.
Mhm.
So, we're not always going to have things booked at the same time. Um,
Exactly. We've
Go ahead.
also done, so today I have my field trips are my favorite shirt on, because today we just did a field trip. So we have a local theater here, and they have what they call the kids program. So every year when the kids program comes out, I order roughly 80 plus tickets to every event. And sometimes I do as many as 150 to 160, depending on the show. Some shows are extremely popular, some shows are not as popular. So today, I think we had 80 something tickets for today's show that had sold.
And
Um,
theater is super great because these
it
types of
is.
events, they invite other schools, the actual organized schools that get to go as well. And then sometimes the tickets are free, sometimes the tickets are discounted, very inexpensive. And you can go and your kids will be able to be on a field trip just like if they were in public school with all the other children there screaming and acting a
Exactly.
fool, just like,
Exactly. Exactly. And they get to see some great shows. So when you have a group, it really is. You have to call, you have to see, you have to build a rapport with all the local places and find the local places, so that you can get these discounts, because there are so many that do have discounts. If you have over 20 people or 30 people or some as low as 10 people, you can get these discounts for your group once you start it and you start having people go. So this is what I said too. So Jennifer had mentioned this earlier. So we have a group that just sometimes just goes to the park with us, right? That's it. There's a park group. Then there's a group that just does field trips with us, right?
Hmm.
And then there's that field trip group. And then there's like some people who just go to this place with us or that place with us. But over the years, your kids all still get to know each other. They're still see regular faces all the time.
Hmm.
I think obviously, the only person who goes to each and everything because it is my group is me. And even there has been a few times where I have actually missed a park day here and there or something, and I have someone, that I know that's going to go say, hey, be me today. Tell me what happened. Tell me who shows up, so I can keep track because I also like to keep track of these things so that I know what is working and what isn't working. What do we have people sign up for? What do we not have people sign up for? There's a lot of things in this area that limit, extreme limit on the number of people. So I know that my closest people within the group, if there is an extreme something that we want to do that does have an extreme limit, and I'm talking like 40 or less extremely limited
Yes.
for us. 40
Because
or
now we're
less
on the
is
other end of the
extremely.
spectrum, right? When we
Yes.
started, it was like, are we going to have enough people to do these? And now it's like, ooh, they're capping the number of people. So now we have to like, okay, well, maybe we're going to release only a little bit of information or only to these certain
Yes.
people that go to these types of
Yes.
events.
And that's
Or
what I've done. Yes, in the past. And we have stuff like that where absolutely like, okay, well, I can have 20 or 30 kids to this. Okay, so I'm going to go to my regulars, the people I know. I'm going to go to Jennifer. Hey, do you want to do this? I'm going to go to the other people. Hey, do you want to do this? This is how many seats I have. This is how many people can go. Let's get a group and go. Right.
and
And I,
sometimes
I,
I'll be like, well, if it's not age appropriate for my kid, then if there's a limited number of seats, I'd rather give it to the other younger kids and say, okay, here, you take them. And then just, or if you have an extra number of tickets, let me know. I'll pick one up and we'll go, just to fill the seats, right? Or this is too noisy, don't send my kid to something that has explosions because that's probably a bad idea. So that's kind of I try to make sure that I don't take up space where it's not appropriate when it's a limited number, right?
yeah. Yes. Yeah. And like I said, so you can do all these things. And like I said, it's if you don't feel comfortable doing it yourself, like I said, look in your area, see if you can find a group, get hooked up with it. If there isn't one, like I said, you can always make one. Start on Facebook and say, hey, this is my group. Put it in the local, a lot of people have like local buy, sell, trade type places or whatever type
Different
groups.
Facebook
And
groups that
yep,
are local that you can just put stuff up on and find you a
yep,
group. And I'm telling
absolutely.
you, if you get on there and just look for a local group, you will find tons. Like they're
Probably.
everywhere. I went group shopping when I first started and just, I would go to one group and be like, oh, nope, this is not my group. And then I got to Wendy's group and I was like, oh, here's my people. And right away, once you start talking to other adults and you find out what their interests are, you'll find people who have similar interests, who, you know, similar ways that you want to teach your child. A lot of times you'll have the same religious beliefs or kind of the same ideas and, maybe the same political viewpoints and you just happen to run into people that have those same beliefs as you and you're like, "Oh, well, I'm comfortable with these people because I know what they think and I know what they believe. So they'll
And
fit in good with me."
exactly. And that's what a lot of the groups are like that. I mean, there are some groups too that are strictly religious groups, right? Where they
Hmm.
want you to go to their church or things like that. I mean, don't knock some of those if that's all you have in your area. Try them. I mean,
I mean, you never know
like I said,
because
like Jennifer said, shop around and see.
mhm,
I mean, for my group, I've always said, as long as everybody can get along, I don't care what religion you are, what your political views, I don't care any of that stuff, right? Like it's not important to me. You can be religious, not religious. And we do have people who are, sometimes, what I would say really religious or in some
mhm.
kind of, their religion is stricter than others. And then sometimes, and we've had people who are exactly the opposite, who are not religious at all, and have had all different kinds of beliefs. like I said, as long as as for me and my group, as long as you're getting along, I
Yes.
personally don't care.
As long as you treat each other with respect. But it
Exactly.
is nice when you find people that you just feel like you clicked with, and that's the thing is that it's not only about also finding people for your child, but it's about finding a support group for yourself as well, because you'll be amazed at
Absolutely.
how, oh, well, I want to find friends for my kids. Yes. But, how easy is it to find friends for yourself when you're like, married and you're a mom and you work or whatever you do, like you don't just like, hey, you want to be my friend? It's
My
weird.
all my best friends have now been from this group, right? Like
Mhm.
I don't think I have very many friends, if any, outside of this group anymore.
Yeah, it's become a really good support system for me. So,
Absolutely. Me too.
um,
Like it's
mhm,
great. I never thought it would be like this. I really didn't, but absolutely it has morphed and changed into so many different things. And, I can't believe well, we'll say we have graduation coming up soon. This is
mhm.
our fourth annual graduation this year. Fourth year of graduating children.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
it like I look at
So
the
much
kids
so
that I've
she's
known.
recruited me for help this year. So,
Yes. And and I can't believe like the kids that I've watched grow up over the last 4 or 5 years that I've had this group. You know, that's I was looking at some of the kids today and I'm just like, wow.
you were a baby.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So we should probably go through some other places that you can go for your field trips, right? Because we did mention the theater. We mentioned the big trip to Great Wolf. So I have a list. You have the list, right, of all the other places? Okay. Um, because there are a lot of museums locally. Some of them are
Yes.
small museums. This was one of them, I think, that we ended up having to break into smaller groups because we couldn't
Uh,
put 80 children in
yes.
one building. So,
They were limited to 20. We were limited to 20 kids. So our local area has a art museum, an energy museum, a fire museum, and a couple other things, right? And so we went to that, but I had to break everybody down into smaller groups of like 20 people. They didn't even want a whole lot of adults. And we did it once. I would love to say we could do this yearly, but again, it's one of those things where they put a cap on us that was an extremely small cap.
yeah.
And it just, unfortunately, it doesn't work for our group. I wish it did for the big sense of our group, right? But yes, but there's also bigger things like, I mean, in our area, like we're right outside of Houston. So in Houston, there's NASA, there's the Houston Zoo, there's the aquarium,
Yeah,
all those
wait,
places.
slow down. The
Yeah.
Houston Zoo.
Yes.
Okay. The Houston Zoo has
Free
homeschool,
days.
like their free
It's
days,
free
right?
days.
It's free day.
Yeah,
So
it's on
you
a
have,
Tuesday. So it's really is for little kids or homeschoolers because it's on a Tuesday. Everybody else is in school.
but it will fill up with lots of people. So you have to
Yes.
get tickets ahead of time. So even if it's not Houston, it's your local zoo and they happen to have a free day. Find out when you're supposed to get those tickets. Let everybody know way ahead of time so you can get in that queue because you never know. You think, oh, no one's going to be there on a Tuesday. Well, I got news for you. Everybody will be there on a Tuesday, even if the
Yes.
weather's terrible. So, um, zoo is amazing. NASA, there was stipulations with NASA too when we went down there, right?
We piggybacked off of their homeschool day, right? So NASA has a homeschool day. So we had to get our tickets for that day. We went there for that day. The discount tickets were 50% off or so, I think. So it was a really good deal.
Hmm.
So
And that's
it
not
was
a cheap
easier.
trip.
No, it's not, but it was still 50% off. So I'm like, it was still, like I said, there was nothing that they would do for our group, no matter what, better than that.
Hmm.
So let's just go on that day because there was like they do have discounts for groups over a certain size, which we would have met, but it wasn't as good as the homeschool day. So I
Right.
just put out there, hey, we're going to go on this day. Here's the instructions. Here's what you do. Here's how you get your tickets. Go sign up, get your tickets, and we will see you there.
Yeah, it was great too. But I mean, if the tickets are, I don't remember how much they are, but let's just say like if they're $30 a piece and you have three kids and then at least yourself, and that's over $100. So
Yeah.
to get a deal like a 50% discount is a lot, especially for families that have a lot of children and can't always afford to do some of these activities regular price, right?
Hmm.
Um, okay. What was the other one? The aquarium. We did something there. That was a
Yes.
super fun trip.
Yes.
I just
And that was
remember,
again, that was a piggyback off of their homeschool day.
okay,
Because
so they
like I
had a
said, some of
homeschool
these
day.
places I will call and I'll be like, "Hey, can you get me a better deal like or even the same deal on a different day so we're not taking up this day." And sometimes they can and sometimes they can't. So again, the aquarium, they have a homeschool day, so we just, "Hey, this is when you're going to get your tickets. We'll see you down there." That was a fun trip too. That
It
was I actually
was.
had help doing that one.
I just
And sometimes like
remember
once you
the little one that was running around and she just kept taking off. Um, that was so funny. There's so many kids and there was so like our group is so big that to get from like the back of the line to the front of the line, it was a lot of people. So people's kids were just kind of weaving around and doing their own thing, and everybody just watched everyone's children that day. But
Absolutely. And then that train ride too with everybody right there. Yes, yes,
my son
yes.
loved the train. I have tons and tons of videos of the train crossing from that
I
day.
think I have a picture of your head in a lion's mouth too from that day.
Yes, it was so good. That was a really cool trip.
We had a lot
So
of fun
yeah,
that day, right?
aquarium was really great. The
Yes.
other things that you do all the time,
Every year we go blueberry picking. So
fruit
check your
picking.
local berry farms and see if they will give you a day where you can go, maybe a little discount or something. Um, Also, we go to free places that have events. And so for those, again, they usually limit us for how many people we can have for those events, but we have a local botanical garden and we will go out there when they
Mhm.
have their Scarecrow Festival in the fall. Every year we go, they limit us to 50 children,
Mm,
but
yeah.
we do go every single year. And I have every single year, I have the pictures of all the kids, and that's where you can look at them and go, oh my gosh, look,
Oh,
year
they were,
one, year two, year
yes.
three, and watch them grow up in the pictures over the years.
Yes. And then the same Botanical Gardens has Christmas lights in the evening,
Yes.
which we don't usually do as a group, but we always run into each other because we all go.
Hmm.
So, um, and that's a free event too. They don't charge anything
Yes.
to get in there.
No.
So, I think since it's the holidays, I remember they take donations, like they take
Mhm.
food donations and stuff at the
Yes, they
front.
do.
Um, but it doesn't actually cost anything.
Mhm.
So, and that is the cutest little free event that you can go and take your kids to get them kind of in the holiday spirit, and it doesn't cost anything. And you don't even have to waste gas driving around the neighborhood looking for Christmas lights. Like you can just walk around and they're there. It's really cool.
It is. Yes. So there's lots of things to find,
Bowling.
I mean, just
Kids bowl free
and
in the summertime.
yeah, kids bowl
That's
free in the summertime. Yes. A lot of it is just calling around. So it is time consuming, especially when you're the one who's trying to put everything together.
hmm
Yes, it is time consuming. You are on the phone a lot. Um, at different times, I have absolutely had help. As soon as I can wrangle someone into helping me set things up, you know, sometimes they've worked out where, it's actually worked where someone has helped me set up. Other times it's gotten us into a little trouble. So, just make sure you are communicating with the person who's helping you or the place where you're going. That is extremely important so you don't, have any issues. Just understand they have to understand, you have to understand that you're going to be a homeschool group. So for that, it's not going to be like exactly like a school. We do get school discounts at different places because we are such a large group. But that being said, we do travel with more adults than a regular school. So you
hmm
have to make sure that they understand that our child adult ratio is not going to be that of a public school.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That has gotten us into some trouble before. So,
See, and I didn't even know that because I don't organize the events. So there's so many things about it that I don't even know. Like that, for example. I just think, oh, well, look, Wendy's got these great things planned and I'm just going to go. And so many
it
of
was,
us just do that. We just show up and don't realize all the planning. And that was one of the reasons why I said we need to do this video, right? Because field trips are huge. Like, it's so great to have that. And I don't think anybody realizes all the work that really goes into it. And hopefully they'll watch this video and realize like it's a lot. And there's a lot of things you have to know,
oh
relationships you
yeah,
have to develop, and planning from a year in advance because, theater tickets and all of these events, they start filling
in
up
August or June is when they start
for
getting
the next
everything
year.
together for
Like,
the next year.
yes.
Like, so
So,
for the trip that we did today, right? I ordered those tickets, I think I was last June. So it's been almost a year since I ordered those tickets. So yes, it does. It does take a lot. And also, like I said, the one where we kind of got into trouble, I had someone else organize it. I called the next year saying, "Hey, we did this great, this was a great event. My group wants to do it this year." And I gave them our name and they're like, "Oh no, you can't." Like you had to, that's what they told me. They're like, "This is for schools. Your adult ratio was too high."
mm,
And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, the person who had set it up, I don't know where I didn't set it up, so I don't know where the miscommunication was. So I don't know exactly what happened or what she said to be able to get those tickets. But we actually sold a ton of those tickets. And like I said, I wanted to go back because it was a great show and was told no. So
yeah. Well, I
like,
mean,
and
there
it
may
so
just
you
have
do
not
have
been
to keep.
any communication about it, right? They might have just
Mhm.
said, oh, we have this many. How many do you need? It's this many, and not even mention that, okay, well, half of them are adults because, you know, you have to have you bring your own kids, we're not going to just drop them off and be like, here you go, Wendy, have 100 children. And
No.
so, no. Um, so yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yes, you do have to call these places. You do have to, and talk to the people, tell them, hey, even if you're piggybacking off of their homeschool day, like, hey, I have, you know, 30 families that are going to come to your homeschool day. What do we need to know? We're all coming in different vehicles. We're all doing this. We're all kind of doing our own thing, but we're all coming to your event. So what do we need to know as a group? What can can we stay together as a group? Can we all be in a group? Because a lot of times some of the places will break you down into smaller groups and different time slots. How do we
Hmm.
get all the same time slot, all those types of things. You
Yes.
really do have to, even if you are piggybacking off of another event, you do still have to have that communication and have a contact person at that event that that you can go speak to if there's an issue.
Yeah. NASA was like that. They broke us up into
Yes.
different groups and they were like, this is your color and this is who we went with, right? There was
Yes.
no, I
And
want
we
to
were
be with this
supposed to be
person.
all in the same group too, because I had that communications with the guy. But
Yeah.
because everybody was showing up at different times, it kind of separated it and
Hmm.
separated us. Yes,
Yeah. Which, I mean, it was still fine. It was
it
such a
was. We still saw
awesome.
each other.
Yeah. Yeah. That was very cool trip. I mean, I don't think I can think of any field trips that we had that I did not enjoy. I mean, everything they've been really great. Um, the bowling ones are even fun with the kids, and that's a nationwide program. I think that
It
kids bowl
is. It isn't
free.
it? Yes.
So you can do that anywhere because they'll give the kids I think it's two free bowling games a week
Yes.
all
Yes.
summer long.
Yes. You
Um,
just have to pay for shoes.
yes.
So you can even call around like there's a few different bowling alleys in our area that offer it. But honestly, some places the shoes are more expensive. And then also where we go, we continuously go to this one place because they also on Tuesdays and Thursdays usually have like $2 laser tag. So the kids will bowl and then do laser tag if they want to.
Mhm.
And that's why we go on those days and at um, not saying that some of them don't have other games, they're just more expensive. And again, when you have six children, because some people in our group have six children or more.
More.
It gets expensive when you're doing, $4 for shoe rentals and $2 for laser tag for each child. It does get expensive. It's an expensive day. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
want try
and I
and keep
mean,
things as cheap as possible.
yeah, and frankly, we want to keep kids busy all summer long doing things. And if you're spending
Inside in
$100 in
Texas.
a go, then you're not going to be able to do that every single day.
No,
So, keeping it inexpensive helps you to be able to do more activities with your kids as well. So,
absolutely.
all right. Well, I think we've covered everything
I hope so.
so
I
far,
hope this
just
was
about
helpful.
getting
And
started with field trips, anyways.
exactly. And I have to tell you, Jennifer, that I was told today that someone watched one of our previous videos and took some of your advice about letting their child just kind of pick a subject and do multiple lessons in one day instead of trying
Oh,
to do all the lessons for all the subjects in one day. So
hmm.
someone actually took your advice
Yay!
and they're doing well with it so
Well,
far.
that's
So
great. Yeah. Well, some schools do that too, where they just have like two classes. They started doing that actually at my private elementary school when I went to school. As we got to the upper grades, they wouldn't have us do every single class every single day. It was like, well, two classes this day, two classes this day. And you can dive deeper into the subject matter a little bit, and you can actually make some progress. It's not just like, okay, here, do these 10 problems for 30 minutes and then we're going to do something else. You really can't get into the subject matter as deeply. So, and then, I think my son, he just likes to break things up that way better, where he just does one subject, it's done that day, then we'll move on to something else the next day. So, yeah, whatever works. Every kid is different. Some kids need to have different subjects and some kids just want one. So, well,
absolutely.
that's
And that's why we
cool.
homeschool because you can do all those
You do
things,
what you
right?
want. Get what you want.
Exactly. I
So,
homeschool. I do what I want.
yeah. We need a new t-shirt for that. So,
All right. Well,
okay.
we will see you next time. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, and we will see y'all next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.